Hi, my name is David P. Shapiro. I am a San Diego criminal lawyer, and I'm also the owner and managing partner of the law office of David P. Shapiro, located in San Diego, California. Now, San Diego borders with Tijuana and Mexico. So there is a lot of drug offenses coming through San Diego, whether within San Diego County, coming from other counties into San Diego County, or coming directly from Mexico into San Diego County. Each and every day, literally tons of drugs come across the border, whether it's through the port of entry at San Ysidro or Otay Mesa, or a little more east through Calexico, so on and so forth. But there are times when people do get caught and the penalties are extremely severe, particularly when being accused of bringing drugs in a vehicle or on your body into the United States from Mexico. First and foremost, the case can be charged federally, which is a place you do not want to be in federal court if charged with most offenses, certainly not a drug offense, due to mandatory minimum sentences and harsh guideline sentences and guideline ranges when negotiating a case with the United States Attorney's Office. If you are fortunate enough for your case to be prosecuted in state court, you're certainly not out of the woods yet, because you're still facing weight enhancements. What that means is if you're dealing with multiple kilograms of methamphetamine, of heroin, of cocaine, you could be dealing with situations where, hey, I can only get up to 4 years on the underlying offense of possessing drugs for purpose of sale, but I'm looking at this 15-year enhancement due to the weight of how much drugs were in my car, or how much drugs I was accused of being a part of moving from point A to point B. Particularly dealing with the border cases, just because the drugs were in your car doesn't mean that you're going to be found guilty of the offense, because you need to know or reasonably believe that it was in fact a controlled substance that you're smuggling, as opposed to marijuana, as opposed to human beings, as opposed to other types of situations. And you also have the option of a defense, which is, hey, you didn't know, and it is certainly not uncommon if you're coming from a foreign country that people will be blind mules, that people will be set up where, they won't have access to their car at all times, and they may not know what's in their car when they drive across. But the underlying focus of that is a lot of times people admit in their investigation, meaning cops will come, Border Patrol agents, whoever, start interviewing you, and you wind up giving up the whole case, and you wind up subjecting yourself to literally decades in custody. On a more local level, you could have a couple of grams of methamphetamine, 8-9 grams of heroin, those types of things. And the difference between being charged with simple possession, which in almost every instance will now be a misdemeanor in California, versus possession for sale, which is a non-reducible felony, which means there's nothing you could do about getting that felony reduced to a misdemeanor. That's a decision a prosecutor makes. So we're going to charge it as a misdemeanor or as a non-reducible felony. So there's even more at stake now than there ever was on those types of lower-end drug offenses, because of the quality of representation that you hire could make the world of a difference between you walking out of it with a misdemeanor versus a non-reducible felony and being subject to several years in custody. When you have so much at line, your freedom's at line, you're on the line, you have an opportunity to avoid a felony conviction possibly. You have an opportunity to hopefully keep your job, even if you do get convicted. There's some alternatives to jail sentences if you get probation. All of that at stake. You really should be looking at the best of the best when it comes to criminal defense representation. I'm confident that my firm is one of the best, if not the best, in criminal defense in San Diego. And we'd encourage you to give us a call if you or a loved one are charged with a drug crime, whether a misdemeanor or a very serious felony. Please call us at 619-295-3555.